Look at this run and tell me Oleksandr Usyk is not the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Terrence Crawford and Naoya Inoue don't have a single win as good as Tyson Fury. Twice. Or Anthony Joshua. Twice. Don't give me that crap about Errol Spence. I don't want to hear it. He was washed. Oleksandr Usyk caps off this era of heavyweight boxing as the number one. He is the king of the hill. He dominated the divisions. He beat the man who beat the man who beat the man who beat John L. Sullivan. Yes, we are talking about Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. The win Oleksandr Usyk notched over the Gypsy King himself. I'm going to be honest. I was worried. I thought Tyson Fury had a much better shot in this fight than what he came and put out. But he didn't. Because our boy Oleksandr Usyk, who I doubted, my bad Oleksandr Usyk, I'm sorry I doubted you. He had his number. That's all it is. Tyson Fury is a great boxer. He's younger than Usyk, sure. But Usyk at 36, 37 years old, however old he is, just has Tyson Fury's number. He has Anthony Joshua's number. Daniel Dubois' number he even has. The guy is incredible. Two-time undisputed champion at cruiserweight and heavyweight. And then the Olympic gold medalist to boot. The guy is perfect. He is perfect except for his age. But then again, like 5 times undefeated. But yeah, if you couldn't tell, like I am madly excited about Oleksandr Usyk's win over Tyson Fury. His ascent has been crazy because this era of heavyweight boxing, he was nowhere to be found. Everybody knew Usyk was a cruiserweight, and when he beat like Glowacki, we were like, oh, this guy's actually really good. And then he says, I'm moving to heavyweight. Fights guys like Chaz Witherspoon and was supposed to fight Tyrone Spong. Don't think we forgot about that. But what Usyk did in his run to heavyweight, going Chisora, Joshua, Dubois, Fury, that's incredible. It's a fantastic run. And like the Dubois seemed like a kind of this is a fight that has to happen type thing. But it turns out Daniel Dubois is really good. He's got a fight later, sure, and him and Usyk might have another date. Or Usyk, who hinted at going down to cruiserweight this week, might go back down to fight a big fight. What big fights are down there for him? Oh, I don't know. Artur Beterbiev? Maybe Beterbiev gets past Dmitrii Bivol again. Maybe he knocks him out this time. Maybe Beterbiev's like, hey, I'm old. We had an Olympic match, a finals match, and it was a very good fight. And let's cap off these legendary careers, because both of them are legendary. Let's cap off these legendary careers with a bang, with a super fight as professionals. Let's make a crap ton of money, and let's call it a day. Seriously, though, what a performance from Oleksandr Usyk. He really did have Tyson Fury's number. Out of Joshua, Wilder, and Fury, those are the big three in this division. For a decade, literally. The Tyson Fury era came around, 2015? We're a week from 2025. Nobody saw Oleksandr Usyk coming, even 5 years ago. But here he is, alas, the oldest of them all, sitting on top of the throne, defeating 2 out of the big 3, only missing Deontay Wilder, who, let's be honest, Tyson Fury beat him twice. Incredible what he's managed to pull off. He had Fury's number, and it was the basics. He just did the basics. That's all it took. Hey, I'm going to throw this left to the body. Do you have an answer for it? And Fury kind of did for a second. He's like, yeah, I'm going to find this left hook. And the left hook worked. Then he just stopped doing it. It's like, that left hook's going to get you caught, isn't it? With an overhand. Because Usyk likes to come over with the overhand instead sometimes. Fury knew it was coming. And Fury's not a bad boxer. Usyk even said it after the fight, like, he's my best friend, yada yada. But Tyson Fury's very good. And as much as the Usyk stands want to tell you, oh, he's not. Like, Tyson Fury's very good. He's a very good boxer. Dethroned Klitschko. Dethroned Deontay Wilder, the scariest man in boxing when he returned to boxing. Tyson Fury's a very good boxer. So we got to give him credit where credit's due. What's next for Usyk? We kind of hinted at it already. So Daniel Dubois has a fight in, I think it's February, on the undercard of Beterbiev Bivol 2. He's fighting Joseph Parker, which is not an easy fight in its own right. So he's fighting Joseph Parker. If he beats Joseph Parker, we're going to see Usyk and Dubois too. Possibly. Usyk deserves some time off, so maybe we could take some time off and wait to see. There's Martin Bakole. No. What if Joseph Parker beats Daniel Dubois? I've seen crazier things, right? We'll definitely see Joseph Parker versus Oleksandr Usyk if that's the case. Because, Parker trains with Fury. There's a little bit of a storyline there. And, man, can you imagine if Parker defeated Oleksandr Usyk? Like, let's get that thought out of our head. Let's stop right there because that's not even a real thought. That would be wild. But, yeah, I do think the Beterbiev fight is the one to make. And at cruiserweight, okay, so keep in mind, Artur Beterbiev is a light heavyweight fighter. He's like number 3 or number 4 pound for pound, maybe number 5. He's top 5 pound for pound for sure after defeating Dmitrii Bivol earlier in the year. Undisputed light heavyweight champion. Him and Oleksandr Usyk, once upon a time, had that match in the Olympic Games. They fought multiple times, if I'm not mistaken, in the amateur ranks. Usyk ended up the better man. When it mattered the most, the Olympic gold medal match, Usyk got the win. Beterbiev went on to have a amazing career as undisputed light heavyweight champion. Cutting so much weight, though, he can go up to cruiserweight. And what a better man to welcome to cruiserweight than Oleksandr Usyk. I actually tell you what, let's hop over to the web right here real quick because I want to see something. Is there anything on the line at cruiserweight that's open? You got Jai Opataya, Gilberto Ramirez. So let's see. IBF, IBO, WBC. No WBA. WBA don't matter. WBO. Yeah, I mean everybody's kind of got a fight, a title book. You got to just do this one for the fun of it, bud. This is what we got to do for the fun of it. I think the Beterbiev fight's the one to make, especially if Usyk wants to go down to cruiserweight again. What does he got left to prove? He got to make money fights. Go to cruiserweight. Tempt Canelo. Tempt Jake Paul, please. Just do it. Because Beterbiev, that's the fight to make. Or Bivol. Bivol said he wants to go down there. He said he can go to super middleweight and beat Canelo, which, let's pump the brakes there, man. Cutting weight's a lot different from putting on weight. So, let's see, though. Let's see what happens, and let's go on. Tyson Fury looked bad, though. That's my takeaway from this. I did think Tyson Fury, who came in at 281 pounds, looked absolutely god-awful. He didn't punch in combination. His jab, which is one of his best weapons, almost non-existent. Didn't set anything up with the jab either. So in my preview to this, in my film study on the first fight, we talked about how if Tyson Fury wants to win this fight, what he needs to do is lean on Usyk, which after he waited, I'm like, oh, he's going to do it. And that's why I thought he was going to win too. He's going to lean on Oleksandr Usyk. But he didn't. Instead, what he did, I'm looking for big shots. I want to hurt Usyk. Keep in mind, Usyk knocked him down in the first fight, not the other way around. So, he looked to hurt Oleksandr Usyk. Didn't really work for him. Kind of sucks, though, man. It took the fun out. This was not as near as good of a fight as the first fight. It was a good fight. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't near as good of a fight. And that kind of took away the fun out of it for me. At one point, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, early in the fight, I scored this for Tyson Fury. I gave him, like, 3 of the first 4 rounds. I gave Usyk round 1. And don't, we're not going into robbery because that's bullcrap. But Tyson Fury, he looked bad. I gave him the early rounds. He kind of was finding his thing. And then Usyk kind of made his adjustments like we said he would do. And Tyson Fury had to answer that, and he didn't. So I want to talk about a second about Tyson Fury's book, Behind the Mask, we're going to talk about a little bit of the mentality behind Tyson Fury too. So the link of this is in the description if you want to check it out. But from this book, he's talking about the moment during the David Haye fight when the fight was canceled, right? So we're talking about 2013, 2014 here. And he said, that's when I first went into a serious depression. All I could do was try and lift myself to keep believing that things would turn my way again. But it wasn't easy, and the warning flares had gone up for the first time about just how low I could go when life wasn't moving as I envisaged. Continuing, he would say, I had come so far, put in so much time and effort, and I just felt, roughly or wrongly, that my career had taken a major step backwards through no fault of my own. I didn't want to box anymore. All I could do was to try and lift myself up, to keep believing that that you got it right there. Okay, I'm going back on myself. But regardless, that's from his book, again, Behind the Mask, Tyson Fury. Very good read, actually. He's got a good story. He talks about his depression and stuff in this, like we were just talking about. And what I worry about Tyson Fury is that his whole existence since coming back has been that he's the best boxer. And eventually you're not going to be the best boxer anymore. Whether it be somebody better comes around or Father Time comes around. Both kind of happened to Tyson Fury. For years, he didn't take care of his body. You know, the drugs, the weight, the alcohol, all of that ruined him. And it gave him a premature exit to this sport. Sad, really. Because he was great. Tyson Fury was fantastic. Go watch that Klitschko fight. Go watch the comeback tour where he was making his way towards Deontay Wilder. Usyk was great. But so was Tyson Fury. And we got to give him his due. He looked bad this fight, though. He really did, man. Like, not punching in combinations and such. And it just really kind of disappointed me because I was expecting a fight like the first with some adjustments. And Tyson Fury's adjustments were, well, what if I could hit him harder? And that's what he came in to do. He brought in all of this extra weight at 281 pounds. It's like, I'm just looking for big shots now. Is he cashing out? Does he not actually want to box? I don't think that. But as Marvin Hagler said, it's tough to get up and do road work in the morning when you're lying on silk sheets, baby. And if anyone in boxing right now has silk sheets, it is for sure Tyson Fury. The man's got all the money in the world. He's got all of the love for luxury in the world. So I hope he doesn't go into another depression, though, honestly, because, like, as much as I like to clown on Tyson Fury and stuff, we know his story, you know, the Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever sports car story where he almost ran it into a wall, 400 pounds, the drugs, the alcohol, all that. I hope he finds meaning after boxing. Does he want to cash out and go fight Anthony Joshua? I mean, that fight's there. But does Tyson Fury want to fight knowing he's not the best anymore? Nobody knows but him. We'll only be able to find out one day. What's his ranking among the all-time greats? I've been thinking about it all the time. Tyson Fury's all-time great ranking. Now, I don't rank him very high. Maybe top 10, but that's a big stretch. But what Tyson Fury was able to do, he wasn't, oh, I'm the greatest boxer in the world. Even though he could have been. Instead, what he did was he went out there and showed himself to be a better person. I mean, he's done some crappy things, said some horrible things, sure. But his overcoming of, like, addiction and stuff and getting his life straight has been great. It's been what a lot of boxers and a lot of athletes need to hear. It's an important story for that. And I think if Tyson Fury really wants a career after boxing, it's speaking on that. Remember, like, Mike Tyson's speech tour after he retired and he was telling his story and all that, and they did the whole Hulu show on it based off of that story? Imagine that, but Tyson Fury telling the story. We love Mike Tyson around here. But, man, he could go in there and talk about all of the struggles he had, every bit of it. And he could appeal not just to athletes, but to kids, to professionals, to the future, you know? And while he'll go down as the lineal heavyweight champion, and in 20 years, everybody remember how great Tyson Fury was, especially on his come up and his comeback, I think his legacy is more after this. I think he's going to change how we talk about mental health. And I think he should step away from boxing now. Maybe one more goodbye fight. He'll go fight Joshua at Wembley, sell it out. But after that, let's talk about Tyson Fury, the activist. So with all this talk about the lineal heavyweight title and stuff, we have to talk about who it came from first. John L. Sullivan. So in episode 4 of Fight Finders, which is right here, you can see exactly where the lineage of John L. Sullivan died and where it kind of split into now, the bare knuckle champion and today's Queensberry Rule champion. Fight Finders is my baby, and this episode was real fun to record and talk about the history of boxing, the sport we all love.